Hello there and welcome to Face Off. I am Nelta Igbe. The Federal Republic of Nigeria. Basically everything about Nigeria seems to be coming from the top. At the end of the month, the 36 states of the Federation and the Federal Capital Territory share from the joint purse the revenues that have accrued to the nation so that development is spread down through to the other part of the country. But true federalism has, according to those that are advocating for true federalism, they will say that it is not the top that takes care of the body, it is the body that takes care of the top. No wonder there are clamors for state policing because, according to many, that will make the difference, as the top alone cannot take care of the entire nation. Question: if that happens, if we do decide that the rest of the body should take care of the top in terms of policing and securing the nation, what about the legal framework, the legal structures? Is the judiciary ready to handle state policing? What else needs to be tinkered with? Should we really pursue the clamor or the cries for state policing? Or, as some other school of thought will say, should we instead chase after local government policing? Maybe we will soon get to the point where we'll have ward police. Is Nigeria ready for this move? Our focus today on Face Off, state police against the Nigeria's legal structure. But just before we move ahead, and I have two lawyers in the house, we'll take a look at this men, three governors of three different states, talking about the fact that state police is something that needs to be looked into. But just before we go to that, remember that you can also be a part of our conversation. Send us your tweets at FaceOff Today or at Nelta Igbe. Let's take this report and we'll be back.
It was a collective decision that all the governors will support the issue of state police. But while I was out there, I heard different stories from our colleagues in the north who went and organized their own meeting and said that they don't want the state police. The southeast governors have not met to decide on state police issue, but the governors forum that I belong to took a decision. It was general. We have not reversed it. So if we're going to reverse it, we'll go back to the governors forum and say, well, we have reversed it. Those of us that belong to PDP, if the party as an organ comes out to say, take a decision, as a loyal party man, I'm bound to abide by that decision.
From the middle, Madam Doctor. Yes, gentlemen, and thoughts of several governors of our.
Okay, well, that was the governor of Abia State, Theodore Orji, talking about the fact that all the governors had agreed to support the cry for state police, but then he's surprised that some governors have decided no, that they do not want state police. Okay, we'll get back to those governors maybe in the course of the program. The governor of Edo State and Imo State talking about state police. But here in the studio I have two lawyers in the house, both of them fervent, one for state police, the other, no way, we cannot have that. Mr. Fred Nzako, welcome to Face Off.
Thank you very much, Nelta, and good evening to all our viewers.
He seems ready. On this other side, Liberals Oshoma, who says no to state police. In fact, no, he says we want state police. In fact, we should have ward police. Very soon we'll have family police too. Liberals Oshoma, welcome.
My pleasure always, and good evening to our viewers.
Okay, as you know how we do it, you have your opportunity to give your opening statements, and we'll start with you.
Yes, I wonder, everything that is good for a dynamic nation, but when it comes to this part of the world, we say we are not ripe for it. We are not ripe for free education because we are not matured for it. We are not ripe for state police because we are not psychologically ready. We are not ripe for transparent election. We are not ripe for electronic voting, even though we admire the way it is done in other parts of the world. We are never ripe for anything. Like some people had said, this is the only federal structure in the whole world that is still practicing a federal police. You say a country is a federating unit. You have states. You have local government councils. But at the end of the day, everything is geared towards unitary system of government. And yet, that's why it is very easy for somebody to sit down in Abuja. It is those things that we are actually not right for that they sit down and decide and push and shove down our throat like the 5,000 naira note, in spite of the opposition by Nigerians. They have decided and given a thumbs up.
Okay,
but
thank you.
what Nigerians have been agitating
You have
for...
overshot your time.
Yes, we cannot continue to delve on issues that are not germane to the welfare of the people. At this point in time, with the massive hunger in the land, with the frustration among the people, with huge unemployment in Nigerian situation, Nigeria should think more of welfare than issues that really are not at the root of the people's problem. State police is one of the things that Nigerians do not want as we speak today. I tell you, and I have a lot of reasons to adduce, that we are yet to be ripe for state police, judging by the way things are going in this country, judging by the way the governors turn themselves into emperors, judging by the way the governors mismanage the affairs of the state.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Thank you for your statement. We'll take a quick break, and when we come back, we'll delve straight into the matters arising. To stay. Okay. Now the pros and the cons, those for and against, seem to agree on one thing, that state police is good. But Nigeria is not ready. That's for those that say no. And those that say yes, believe that Nigeria is ready. But then, according to those who are saying no, unforeseeable or foreseeable controversies. Foreseeable controversies. Okay, we're back here. You gave your opening statement first. So, Mr. Fred,
yes,
you asked the first question.
Yes, I start with question. Let me
ask him.
Let me on a lighter note ask Libros. Is it because he wants state police? Is that that he dresses like a policeman and then maybe you want
Yeah, I was.
you want a local empire of your own?
I was coming to that. Do you know that the Nigerian police is doing, an average policeman is doing ×5 of what he ought to be doing? Because we all agree that the capacity is very low. The men of the Nigerian police is not even enough to man Nigerians. You have of 310,000 men and officers and men of the Nigerian police.
They are more than that, Libros. As at last count, they are close to 475,000 now.
I am telling you, we are talking about the recruitment they are proposing, or the one they have carried out.
No,
they are proposing a recruitment of the 310,000 men of the officers and men of Nigerian police. You have about 100,000 guarding our political office holders, bank officials, and all others that can afford.
Will establishment of state police stop all that?
When Lagos State started this last month thing, people were like, no, we are not ripe for it, because that the Tinubu's administration was surreptitiously grooming state police, and that the federal road safety could handle the traffic situation in Lagos. And in spite of their inadequacies, we had seen that the fear of LASMA is the beginning of wisdom in Nigeria. Let me tell you,
LASMA is more or less an extension of state VIO.
Allow me.
In terms of control of traffic.
Do you know that?
So it has nothing to do with policing.
Do you know that motor vehicle owners fear LASMA more than the Nigerian traffic police on the road?
Why?
Because they are more on ground. They are even more equipped than the Nigerian police. A situation where you have an IG of police seated in Abuja and the commissioner of police that is so far removed from the reality on ground than what is actually obtainable. But what we are happy, you thank God you are a lawyer. You have a situation, you call Nigeria a federal structure. Yeah. And like in your opening statement, in a federating unit, the federating unit are supposed to feed the center, not the center feeding the federating unit. But what we have here, we always believe that, look, it should be done according to the whims and caprices of some people. Allow me, of some people in Abuja who feels that, look, we are never ripe for anything unless they say we are ripe for it. Now, if you look at, let's not even go into the law now, let's even begin to look at the morals and the basics. Even Mr. President admitted that when he was deputy governor, that when he were Bayelsa, any policeman that is posted to Bayelsa, they found it difficult combating crime because they are not from that state, one, and also the terrain was not a terrain that you can just come from outside and conquer. The creeks. And so you find criminals running into the creeks. But if you have policemen that grew up in that place, that lives among these people, even Tafa Balogu started it.
Is there
but they
anything
couldn't
wrong?
He could not call it state police. He said community policing.
Is there anything wrong?
Keep asking your questions.
In recruiting Bayelsa indigents in Nigerian police force and posting them to Bayelsa?
But what?
Because what we are talking about is
the capacity of the Nigerian police to take these
fundamentally,
people.
what we are talking about is state police as a structural institution.
What you
not enlargement of existing Nigerian police force.
Let me give you another example.
A situation now. Enlargement. What you are advocating is an enlargement of Nigerian police force, which I obviously
no. I mean, that is one of the reasons.
From your analysis,
that's one of the areas you need to look at.
When you say that the men of the police force are not enough to do their work,
okay,
how do you make them enough? You increase the number.
If you increase the number, when the Nigerian police do not even have the financial capacity to cater for the ones they have now,
how will the state police now have financial capacity?
Fantastic.
When the states don't even have money to pay minimum wage of workers.
Fantastic. States are agitating for true federalism.
Good.
And one of the functions, the cardinal point of a true federalism is state policing. And also, apart from state policing, state prisons. We should look at all of these things holistically.
Good.
You should not begin to look at
this point.
Let me tell you also, do you know that in the military era, for fear of the fact that we are not ripe for it, military head of state and presidents could not post military governors and military administrators to their state of origin, that no, they will be so powerful that we are not ripe for it and all of that. But today, you have civilian governors from their state of origin, and we are the better for it.
Why? It's an argument for another day, because you cannot say
we are the better for it.
Many Nigerians will tell you
we are the better for it.
From 1999 to date, Nigeria has deteriorated so greatly. So let us not digress on that issue. What we are talking about, what we are talking about is, if we are talking of holistically restructuring the polity towards true federalism, there wouldn't be this argument. But if you're taking the ingredients of true federalism in piecemeal, you just single out state police and you now want to champion state police, that will not work. I will tell you many reasons why it will not work. If the federal structure remains as it is, where everybody goes to Abuja at the end of the month to go and share money on a table under federal allocation accounts committee, and then you now go back to your state and say you want to generate more labor through the policing structure, that will not work.
Okay.
Meanwhile, how many states in Nigeria today can afford to stand on their own without going to Abuja?
Allow me to answer.
Yes, these are fundamental issues.
Fantastic. Your people in Abuja have refused, for reasons best known to them, to allow us have a true federal structure. And so what do?
When you
say
my people, qualify it very
the
well.
Abuja people. And so, allow me. So if we will get there through this piecemeal approach, take one ingredient and try and see how you can enforce it. And another thing you should look at is, when you were complaining that governors are mismanaging and embezzling funds because with their lack of responsibilities. You push a situation where you say...
What do you mean by lack of responsibility?
I will answer you. A situation where you say the governor is the chief security officer of the state and you expect him to finance the Nigerian police force by donating vehicles, in some states where they even have a security trust fund to empower the Nigerian.
What is the governor doing with the security vote?
I am answering your questions.
What is governor doing with the security vote?
Yes. Fantastic. So if you give a governor security vote, and the man is telling you,
because if the governor dips his hand and takes a pinch of the security vote to the Nigerian police for his own state, that does not mean that the same governor can fund state police when it comes.
You give a man security votes,
yes,
and you refuse to give him personnel that will work with that security vote. And you tell him, don't be accountable to anybody.
The security vote of any governor,
you are making
the security vote of any governor is not determined in Abuja.
That's what
that is why
telling you.
That is why can afford to slash down his security vote.
Fantastic.
And he became very popular.
That is why he could use the security
vote.
Have other
governors done the same
because
thing?
he does not have policemen and women from Imo State to spend the money on. But so what I'm telling you now, that if you give a man so much as security vote, and yet he does not have men and women under him to provide.
He doesn't have where to spend that security
where to spend the security vote. He can use it anywhere.
As a matter of fact, that means the governors themselves should set off some of the money they are getting. I will now pull it.
That is why they are telling you, give us men to spend this money on. We cannot afford to
and then recruit more people from the various states and then infuse them into the federal command structure and distribute them to the various states. And you achieve the
result. There was something he said about how do you think these governors will want to do that when they will not have control?
When you
they cannot influence or give a directive to the commission.
Section 215, subsection 4 of the Nigerian Constitution
gives the
governors absolute authority over the state police command.
Qualified
absolute. In the sense that any lawful authority of the governor, any lawful instruction of the governor must be carried out by the commissioner of police in that state. And then it trickles down
by the provisions of the Police Act. The police commissioner
and not when the governor now wants to hunt his enemy in that state, and he expects the commissioner of police.
We should not deceive our listeners.
And expect the commissioner of police.
By the provisions of the Police Act, and even by the provisions of our constitution, there are hierarchy in the Nigerian police force.
Yes.
The police commissioner of a state reports to the IG, and in some cases to an AIG
but takes lawful orders from the governor and executes the order in the state.
Lawful orders from the governor. And do you know, as a governor, you can give lawful order to a commissioner, but the commissioner will still need further clarification from Abuja.
In most cases.
In some cases, let me give you the case of Plateau State. In Plateau State, why the death that occurred in Plateau State about 2 years ago was as a result of this chain of commands. A situation where the governor had to place a call to a police commissioner.
That has not been proven.
The governor came out to say.
That has not been proven.
It is not. The governor came out to say when this incident happened to say that I place a call to the commissioner and those in command. And at the end of the day, I placed this call at about 4 a.m. in the morning.
Yes.
And the rescue team did not get there until 9 a.m. the next day. What happened? They were probably waiting for further instruction from Abuja.
You can take lawful order.